So this is the little post that goes in my cross slide that converts it from a tool post to a tool rest. The tool rest goes in there. I'll grab one. Tool rest, little teeny tool rest, nice and rounded. Not a lot of dings in it. I imagine in production, pattern maker's lathe doesn't have a lot of freehand turning. I mean, it's obviously some, but it's not his primary occupation. Anyway, so this goes in there. This sets in the tool post. You yank the whole lantern out, and this goes in there, which is way cool, and saves another piece of hardware, which I honestly thought I was going to have to construct a banjo, because I hadn't figured this out. I'd seen this. This also fits in outboard tool rest post, which you'll see later, I'm sure. Anyway, this so this is a pretty simple little gizmo. Goes in there. It clamps on there. This clamps onto that. The clamping is a little bit stiff, and clearly this doesn't meet the current imagined paint scheme. So I'm going to yank it apart and clean things up. I'm sure that this has very little to do with it, but it's a thing that I can do. I'm going to do a little quick wire brush on this, and at the moment I'm not lubricating anything, as you can imagine, because I'm sort of getting ready to do some painting, which the lubricating would get in the way of. So the dream is to get everything to sort of dry fit, get a coat of paint on it or two, and then do a, we'll call it a final assembly with some light, I imagine, machine oil or something like that. Hardly matters what kind of oil, but some sort of oil to lubricate this a little bit. All right, and this is great. I'm not sure if etiquette says you're supposed to paint nuts and bolts or not. Maybe I shouldn't paint bolts. I really don't know. That's clean. It'll be great. A little teeny bit of filing. It's got a little primitive square-headed socket wrench, which isn't really a socket wrench. But I see a little bit of a ding there. I'm going to get a file and use it as a thread chaser and touch up a couple of spots. Somewhat nasty convenience for me is that 60-degree file and 60-degree thread seem to go together, which only encourages me, and it probably shouldn't, but I'm doing it. This, amongst all the things that you want on a lathe, you want to be smooth. You want to be able to slide your tool rest into position really, really smoothly. All right, looks good. There's a little ding where it catches for a second, but that's all right. And I think I'm going to clean this out and then sand this whole thing down and get ready for this. We'll get it painted. Great. Looks like a hacksaw blade. We'll find out how much like a hacksaw blade that is. Wow, it looks like a hacksaw blade. And that's virtually nothing in there. Just some debris. I don't feel anything at all. That's great. Piece of paper towel, maybe. Actually, I know what I should use. I should use some sandpaper, because I've got that. All right, good enough. I don't really need to do the inside of this, but I pass the sandpaper around it. Mostly thinking about just little corners that have gotten dinged. Polishing. In use, this will get oiled, I imagine. That'd be kind of nice. All right, so that's all good. This is great. We're smoking on this. Now, the rest of this I think I'll just sand. I'm going to probably slide this to the end of the bench where you can see some of it. Once again, taking off little bits of sand marks. Cute. Cool. Oh, good. Oh, good. This part right here won't get painted. I'll have to tape it when I paint that. Looks like they used a fly cutter when they cut this part and cut a little bit into that. No idea why. All right. Well, I think I'm going to dip this in some, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'll spray it and steel wool it. What's that? All right, a little brake cleaner and see what it looks like. Well, for me, spray painting's all about masking, because I'm not much of a painter. You can ask anyone. So here, this is my idea of masking. Hope this works. Huh? What's that? I'm going to check the edges. Oh yeah, see, I made a mess. It's no good. It's amazing how many things over time you discover that you can imagine doing, but you really, when it comes right down to it, can't seem to do anywhere near as well as you imagine. It's not that I couldn't scrape any paint off afterward. And I'm going to sand this probably in between coats, which means probably end up having to touch up the masking. It's not awful though, really. I'm going to go with it. It's better than what was here. That's saying something. All right. So let's move on to a little rattle can action. We'll be able to see what this is going to look like. Hopefully we'll like it. This dark stuff here. I guess it's the first coat of paint. It's not really thick. This looks like once upon a time it was black. I've seen them, you know, looking through the interweb. I've seen them, a couple of them painted black. They're kind of smart. But I'm going to stick to my maroon because I think that looks the best. Anyway, this is primer. I think we'll flip it over in a little bit and get the other side. Because I don't actually have it. I'm not working, you know, on the clock. Anyway, primer. It's going to look great. I swear, everybody's going to want one. You know it. All right. Well, here we go. I don't know if it's going to take 2 coats or not. Probably should. But rattle can painting is our specialty here. Yeah. Anyway. Wow. This is a brilliant damn color. Yeah, beginning of a whole new era for this machine. Pretty exciting. All right. Good. It's pretty warm in here, so actually amazingly set up. See, I'm reaching that handle again. Can't do that one. Do this one, Dave. Do this one. See how that one works? Fine. I don't know why I'm worried. Well, this is great. Well, how's that look? That's going to be super. For tool post, it's going to be dandy. So I'm going to see if I can hang this up without dropping it. And we'll move on to the next project. Loving it. Thanks for watching. All right. This is the handle for the tailstock. Not that it matters that this is anything, but you know, here we are. I can get all but the tail end of the handle, and I'll get that when I hang it up. It looks good. I love this color. All right, I tell you, we're just flying on this project now. Oh, great. I don't know what I'm doing. Huh. Okay, so I've got plans for this. I want to throw a coat of paint on this little number. I'm going to use a clamp to hold it in place. It looks pretty good. I want to have a little painted collar on it. So I'm going to mask it from about there. Look at that. That takes care of that business. So now I can have a little bit of the shaft, which really doesn't matter. And at some point, the newness of this whole thing will, wear off, and I'll get back to making responsible decisions. Until then, I'm going to keep being stupid. Okay, so I want to put a little bit of tape on the edge of this because, it's going to wear pretty rapidly. So that should take care of that. I'm going to cut that off. I'm sure you can tell. I'm going to cut that off right at the edge. And right at the end. And then throw a little bit of primer on that. See, that's, just so I won't be disappointed scratching the paint immediately, right? Yeah. Primer. And then I think we can call it a day. Oh, sorry about that. Jesus, I'm no good at this. I'm always grabbing the wrong damn part. What's wrong with me? Oh well. Alright, I'll hit it again. There. I mean, it's really no big deal. Okay, so that's done. That's done. Got two big pieces left. They're clean, and then put some primer on them. I've got one. I'll swing you around. Whoa, to there. Got one of the brackets. There we go. I've got one of the brackets ready for cleaning, final cleaning, and then it'll be ready for paint. I really should just take a couple minutes, clean this. They're both ready for the brake cleaner final cleaning, and then I could shoot some primer on them. I should do that. I should do that before I go home, because it's really close to Miller time. Let me do that. It'll take just a minute. I think that's that. I think the whole point of this is that it dries so quickly and dries without residue. So, we'll see. I think that's it. So these have been degreased, sanded, some, cleaned, wiped, sanded again, wiped, and then the degreaser removed. They'll look great painted up. These are, don't know if you've had an opportunity to read it, but these say Drywall Manufacturing Company on them. This is the DA Drywall 501. No idea what that means, but the drywall is the transmission that someone purchased to go between the electric motor and the belt. So, get these over to the paint booth. All right. Here we are in the paint booth. And I've got my primer. This is still wet. They're both still wet. I'm going to give it a couple minutes to dry. I don't want to, they aren't that wet, but they are a little bit. Couple minutes. Couple minutes. I wasn't thinking. Okay, so I think I've got these all cleaned, dried off, blown out. Don't want any paint in this slot right here. So I think, rather than trust myself to not paint it, I think I'm going to tape it off. Give me a minute. All right, so that I wish to not be painted, hopefully it's taped off and won't get painted. Should work. So here we go. It's going to be back and forth, back and forth. We'll see. Well, that's that side. Well, get the rest tomorrow. Can't wait. We'll, you know, we won't get it all done tomorrow, but we'll get more done. That's the important part. Get more done every day. Be fun. So here we are. This is a little part of my new lathe. I've got this new lathe. Wonderful, heavy old machine. And this is a cutting head on a carriage, cross-feed carriage. And it has a handle on it that rolls it up and down in a track, up and down the length of the bed. And it's got a handle on this that turns this plate in and out. And it's got a small handle on this one that moves this thing in and out along this path here. If you were cutting threads, this is an awful lot like a machine lathe back in its day. For making threads working on pieces of metal. And similarly, it has a contraption called a lantern on it. Very cool little lantern. It has a, at the moment, it has a tool holder in it, a bit tool clamped in to this cast iron, very rigid. And what's cool about this lantern is it snugs it down. And when it snugs it down, it actually snugs it against the bottom of this thing, so it tightens the whole thing in place when it snugs it down. Pretty cool. But here's a tricky thing that they did. You don't always want these bits perfectly level or at this one particular angle. You sometimes want to be able to rotate them up or down depending on the fineness of different kinds of cuts. And it's got this dish-shaped washer on it and this curved plate at the bottom that you can roll up like this and have it pitch up more, or you can roll down and like this and have it pitch down more. And it can do that all at the will of the operator if, unlike me, the operator knew what the hell he was doing. Anyway, so there's this wonderful little thing in this tool post. Very cool. Now, I'm looking for a lot of freehand lathe work is done off a tool rest like this. You mount this tool rest and run your lathe chisels across it and you can do bowls. I'm interested in doing some bowls right at the moment. So I'm wondering how the hell I do bowls with something like this. I mean, this is an Etch-a-Sketch thing. I can Etch-a-Sketch the thing, but I can't do a very good job. And I'm wondering how I'm going to do this. God, I got this machine, I'm thinking, and it has no banjo for a tool rest holder. I'm wondering what the hell I'm going to do. And I'm just sort of frustrated because I don't know what I'm talking about. I looked on the interweb and there wasn't a lot of stuff. A little, but not much. Some old photographs, all of which show things, but none of them show what? A banjo. And then I loosened this nut right here and pulled this out completely. And lo and behold, there is a socket here that a tool rest fits right into, and I can move that tool rest any place that I want on the lathe by using these two controls. How fabulous is that? So this is just unbelievably controllable and convertible, and I just turn this right here and it locks it into place, and I'm good for all day long. This has been another miracle old lathe moment from Uncle Dave. Thank you for watching. Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 bum. Tomorrow I'll show you an adapter that goes in this hole that I can put 10 different kinds of tool rests in. You're going to get a kick out of that. Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 bum. Yeah, I know, I couldn't wait either. So, I flip these over. It's time. More priming. Excuse me. Oh, I'll do one more. Let me get a little of this. Okay, passing through. All right. Now it's Miller time for sure. Thanks for watching. We'll get them. They'll be wine colored next time you see them.